Some investors think that Ethereum could hit a $180,000 market cap in the coming years, while other investors, institutional investors, continuously pull money out of Ethereum week after week. So what is going to happen with Ethereum? Where are we now? What is going to happen when we transition over to the consensus or ETH 2.0? What's going to happen in the short term? We're going to take a look at that today, along with some of the major news from the crypto market. If you guys don't mind hitting the like button and subscribe button, I appreciate that. You'll get more videos just like this every single day. Also, there are links to BlockFi underneath the video. In case you want to get an interest rate on your cryptocurrency, you can check out that link underneath the video. Now, Bitcoin and the whole crypto market is looking pretty good today. We're at 2.02 trillion, up about 3% on the day. Now, we do have CPI data coming out tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. So be on the lookout for that. It's just what we've said in the past. If the CPI comes above, then people are going to be more worried about rate hikes. If it comes in below, then people are going to be more bullish. Now, it seems like people are pretty bullish here today. The only thing that's sideways really is the stablecoins, but you can see everything, including Ethereum, is up pretty significantly. So I haven't talked about Ethereum in a little while. Some people have been asking me to give a price target on it and to talk about it where it's at right now. So I will do that a little bit later in the video. But first, let's talk about the biggest news of the day. Russian government and central bank agreed to treat Bitcoin as currency. They say Russia's government and central banks are now working on a draft law that will determine crypto as an analog of currencies rather than digital financial assets. And this is going to be February 18th. So they're going very quickly and making sure that this is going to be labeled as a currency. They say that Bitcoin and Bitcoin transactions and possession of cryptocurrencies in the Russian Federation are not prohibited, but they must be done through a digital currency exchange organizer, basically a bank, or a peer-to-peer exchange licensed in the country. So they're basically trying to keep it in-house, trying to make sure that they're the ones profiting on it. Their companies are the ones profiting from cryptocurrencies. They also state that the cryptocurrency transactions of over about $8,000 have to be declared. That's something similar to in the US. In January, the Bank of Russia called for a nationwide crypto ban in a report that warned about the speculative nature of the industry. So they've changed their stance very quickly. They also are supporting efforts to regulate the country's crypto mining sector. So why is this change happening so quickly? Because there has been a lot back and forth between what they want to do at first and what they're doing now. Well, they might have noticed that there's a huge amount of money that's in it for them. They could get $13 billion in taxes from the crypto economy. And what they're doing is they're building up the companies and they're building up the tax revenue. Obviously, they're building up the companies in their country. So it's going to really benefit them. And they could try to outlaw it. They could try to make it illegal, but it's still going to happen and they're just not going to get anything from it. Kind of like some industries here in the US that I shouldn't say because I'll get demonetized. There are reasons that people ban them because of a lot of old ways of thinking, but eventually people are going to transition and do it anyways, and then the US or Russia wouldn't get any tax revenue if it wasn't legalized. Now, something that I thought was pretty cool is that the upcoming Apple iPhone is going to feature a way to give merchants a way to accept crypto payments. According to Apple, the soon-to-be-launched tap-to-pay feature will extend support to Apple Pay, contactless credit and debit cards, and other digital wallets. It's basically a means that unless Apple goes out of their way, customers who are using a Coinbase card, Crypto.com, Visa card, or other similar payment cards would be able to use their cryptocurrency holdings to make payments via tap-to-pay. Now, I just want to talk to you about this for a second. There is a link to this underneath the video. The only crypto card that I use is the BlockFi card because there's no annual fee. They give you up to 3.5% back in the first 3 months and then at least 1.5% back the rest of the time. You can even distinguish what you want it coming back in, whether you want it Ethereum, Bitcoin, something like that. And they do offer other options too, but then it goes straight to your account where you can actually earn interest on it. So if you guys want to check that out, there is a link down to it underneath the video. There are no foreign transaction fees too, which is nice. This is a cool use case for NFTs that I'm sure a lot of people haven't thought about. Alfa Romeo SUV uses NFTs and blockchain to track car records. The Italian car maker Alfa Romeo has unveiled its latest vehicle. The firm claims that it's the first in the industry to connect each vehicle to its own blockchain-based token, which can keep track of the car's whole life cycle. They're going to be able to purchase and then simply record and keep data during the vehicle's lifespan. Upon customer consent, obviously, the NFT will record vehicle data, generating a certificate that can be used as a guarantee of the car's overall status. So this is going to definitely help people. It's going to be way simpler than trying to keep forms of different things that are done throughout time. And this NFT obviously is a step in the right direction for the usage of NFTs. It's not just some art that you throw up on your phone. It can actually have real world use cases, which I think a lot of people don't understand yet. And this got me thinking, okay, I have been having a lot of people ask about Ethereum recently because Ethereum is so dialed into NFTs, and I haven't really talked about it too much besides just giving general updates on it. So I thought, let's look at Ethereum a little bit more in depth. So this article just came out, 4K ETH by July. Ethereum price post fastest recovery to date from a 50% drawdown. ETH's jump on February 7 is in part due to KPMG, which obviously is that big four accounting firm that added Bitcoin and Ethereum to their balance sheet. Now, I think that $4,000 is going to happen a lot sooner than July. So obviously this is going to be dependent on the overall crypto market and what happens in macroeconomics and what happens in the stock market, because if the stock market's going down and the Nasdaq's going down, people are probably not going to throw a lot of money into Ethereum along with other cryptocurrencies. But we dropped down to about 2,100 and we've already recovered to about 3,200. So I think saying 4,000 by July is sandbagging it a little bit, since that is about 5 months away. We were over 4,000 about a month and a half ago. So I don't think it is crazy to think that we would be back there in the next month or two. I think that's actually really realistic. Right now, we are getting a lot more Ethereum 2.0 continuously staked, getting ready for that transition, and they still call it Ethereum 2.0 on a lot of websites, but there is an update on that later. So we're getting more and more Ethereum locked up. Right now, it is about 7.76% of the overall supply. The reserves have gone down pretty significantly over the last 2 months, from about 18 million down to about 16.5 million. So there is a significant amount coming off exchanges, but over the last week or two, we haven't really had too much taken off exchanges. So right now it is looking pretty bullish overall for crypto. Now, of course, on-chain metrics look bullish a lot of the time. We do have a lot of Ethereum being burned since they transitioned with EIP 1559. About 71% of all Ethereum has been burned. Over the last few days, it hasn't been as much, only about 66%. Over the last day, 56%. So it's been a little bit less congested. Now, we get a lot of conflicting information, like JP Morgan that said Ethereum's true value is really close to 1,500. I remember this day specifically because crypto had fallen a lot, and then it seemed like JPM almost had an article ready to go because it was about a couple $100 less than what it actually was at the time, the actual price, trying to force it down even further possibly. But they did come out a couple months before that saying that Ethereum could be a $40 billion a year business in terms of crypto staking by 2025. So that's only 3 years away. And I thought, okay, let's roll back the numbers on this. Let's say Ethereum gives you about 5% rewards for staking. And right now it is about a $330 billion market cap, I want to say. So 380. So with this in mind, if half of the supply is staked and half isn't, and we have a $40 billion a year revenue stream coming from Ethereum, that would put the market cap around 1.6 trillion, which will be a 4x from here, about $12,000. So if you work back the numbers, it means that they're saying basically this could be a $12,000 asset by 2025, which I don't think is out of the question. However, they do like to manipulate, saying that they think it's closer to about $1,500, the true value right now. Now, just a little bit of a heads up, the Ethereum Foundation said that they are rebranding from Ethereum 2.0, and they're calling it the consensus layer and the execution layer. So consensus being Ethereum 2.0, execution being Ethereum 1.0. This is because they didn't want people to be scammed. A lot of people say that you might have to upgrade from Ethereum to Ethereum 2.0 and send them your crypto and stuff like that. That's going to be a scam, so be on the lookout for that. They say that it's tentatively scheduled for June 2022, so assuming that still happens, I think that's very bullish for Ethereum. The only thing is, if you're in it for the long term, this shouldn't matter. But if you are trying to make a play on it, it's probably one of those things where after the date comes out, it will go up in price. But you have to remember, a lot of the time we do get selling when the event actually happens, and there will be a lot of Ethereum 2.0 that isn't going to be staked anymore. So I ran the numbers on this, and it would be over 9 million Ethereum at this point that would be unstaked. And a lot of this is in the profit, a significant amount. So you have to be careful about this, because at the beginning, a lot of people didn't really realize that you would be locked up in this Ethereum 2.0. So a lot of it is significantly in the profit. I mean, we're talking about a couple $100 Ethereum all the way up into a couple $1,000 Ethereum. So a lot of people probably will want to sell off some of their Ethereum because they didn't realize that it was going to be held for so long. So be on the lookout for that. There might be a lot of selling pressure when that actually happens, which is something to pay attention to. But I think overall it is good for Ethereum that they're transitioning. It will actually make it net deflationary of about 2% based on obviously some assumptions here. It's been coming for a long time, so I wouldn't be surprised if it got pushed back again, but I'm hoping it doesn't. I think it will definitely help in the long term, though, make Ethereum more scarce and lower some of the transaction fees. Now, some people are worried because of Matic and some Ethereum killers, and a lot of whales, Ethereum whales specifically, have been accumulating Polygon. So whale stats show that Polygon has replaced Link as the #1 traded token among the richest Ethereum holders in the last 24 hours. And we can actually see some of these whales bought $5 million, some bought 1.5, some bought 2 million worth of Matic tokens. And there was some news recently, this was happening right around the time that Sequoia made a big bet on Web3, investing about $450 million in Polygon. So this is obviously a layer 2 to support Ethereum, and it's much cheaper than using Ethereum. Now, a lot of people are worried with Matic that when Ethereum transitions to layer 2 that it won't actually be useful. But I think it's quite obvious that the transaction times and the cost is so high on Ethereum, and Polygon has stated that even when they transition, it's still not going to be scalable enough to handle all the transactions that we'll need to handle. This has led to the creation of the layer 2 because they have had so many problems with the transactions here. So I think we still will have a lot of use case for Polygon when Ethereum 2.0 comes out. Now, looking at some other killers of Ethereum, we can look at the electricity per transaction here and determine what's most efficient in terms of electricity. And obviously it's Solana. Solana is another one that I've been stacking, and there are some issues with Solana. It's highly centralized, there are VCs, all that, but it is by far in a way the most energy efficient crypto that we have right now of the big cryptos. So the question is, what is Ethereum actually worth? Right? If we're buying it now at 3,200, what will it be worth in the future? Well, I think we have to be careful, because if we read some of the article headlines, you get stuff like this coming from JP Morgan. This is about Bitcoin, but not Ethereum, but they like to manipulate. They like to say a bunch of different things. They have a bunch of different analysts. They're going to say different things, and it's just labeled as JP Morgan. They estimate the fair value of Bitcoin at 38,000. They say that one of the biggest challenges for Bitcoin going forward is its volatility and the boom and bust cycles that hinder further institutional adoption. So you could say the same thing about Ethereum, but the fact is, if you want to invest in a young asset class, there are going to be significant price fluctuations. We've actually been pretty correlated with the NASDAQ, and it's really just kind of like a leverage play on it. I mean, it's obviously a little bit different, but we're going to go through some of these boom and bust cycles, and that's the price you pay. According to the report, they say that the theoretical Bitcoin target is $150,000. So they say that it could theoretically get to Bitcoin at $150,000 for the long term. Now, based on how they're saying this, I think they're saying like 5, 10, 20 years, which I think is really low. I mean, that would only be a couple $1 trillion Bitcoin, which means that Ethereum probably won't be that widely adopted either. And there is a lot of money flowing out of Ethereum. Over the last couple of weeks, we've seen more and more money coming out of Ethereum. Overall, the year-to-date flows is negative 120 million. So that is something obviously bearish, but we do have companies like ARK Invest that are saying that we could see a $20 trillion Ethereum in the next 10 years. And this would put their price at about $180,000. A really, really nice, was that 60x from here. So where is it going to go? Well, if we look at 2016, we can see that Ethereum was about $7, $8 at the end of the year and went all the way up to about $1,400 by the end of the year. That's about a 200x. Well, back in 2020, we were around $140 or so, 125, which a 200x from 125 is about $25,000. So that's a huge gain. Do I think we're going there? I don't think so. I think that in this cycle, if we still have cycles, that is, I think it'll be very hard to get up to $25,000. I know some people say that that's going to happen, but the fact is, there are lesser returns as time goes on. As this becomes a larger and larger asset class, we're not expecting the same returns. That would put them at a $3 trillion market cap. I think that's too aggressive here for the short term, but I think we definitely could see a nice boom and push us back up to all-time highs here over the coming months. Ethereum has been moving up very strongly since we started to see a bounce in Bitcoin, and I think a lot of people realize that there are a lot of use cases for Ethereum, and while Bitcoin is a store of value and is immutable and doesn't change, Ethereum is really the foundation of DeFi, and there's so much total value locked, and it just dominates the DeFi market, which we didn't even take a look at that, but it has about 10x more total value locked than about any other cryptocurrency. So there's still a lot happening on Ethereum, but it does need to be able to scale. If Ethereum 2.0 doesn't come out in time, or it doesn't come out at the right time, I should say, I think that would definitely hurt the price of Ethereum, but that's going to be short-lived, and I think we would still continue to push up as we get closer to Ethereum 2.0. I think Ethereum also is one of those assets that is large enough that institutions are willing to put money in it. They're not looking at the smallest cryptocurrencies out there. I'm talking about the large institutions that are going to start allocating. If you look at some of the companies, some of the public and private companies, some of the largest in the world, they're allocating towards Bitcoin, and if they're willing to allocate towards something else, it's Ethereum. I mean, think about KPMG. They're not going out and buying Cardano, XRP, and Solana, right? They're buying Ethereum and Bitcoin. So I think it is thought of as a less risky asset than a lot of these other cryptocurrencies. I think we're back going up to 4,000 here pretty soon, assuming crypto continues to move up. I think we get up to $50,000 Bitcoin, we get up to $4,000 Ethereum in my mind. And then I think if we actually hit all-time highs on Bitcoin, I think we will already have hit all-time highs on Ethereum before that. We're about 2/3 of the way to all-time highs for Ethereum, while we're down a little bit more than that still on Bitcoin, and Ethereum moves up faster than Bitcoin when Bitcoin moves up typically. So people will get excited, throw money in Ethereum, and then I think it will hit 5,000 again before Bitcoin hits 70,000, for example. Now from there, it's going to depend on the overall crypto market. There will be a lot of volatility, I think, when we're at all-time highs, but I could definitely see a $6,000 to $8,000 Bitcoin here in the near future, especially with Ethereum 2.0 coming up, and it might even be higher than that. I just like to be a little bit cautious about my estimates. Let me know where you think Ethereum will be at the end of the year or halfway through the year. Let me know in the comment section below. Also, feel free to check out those links to BlockFi underneath the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.